Hello everyone. It's an honor to be with you all to learn together again. We will have fun studying the following contents together. The integrated and perfect use of the giving of distributing and subtracting in giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy, giving I. Teachings of Mentor Benny. Write all these out, write them out to form a single, later go and read them. After reading them, you really can't remember them, just read them as they are. You can write them as they are verbalized, and when you read them, others will be able to feel that you are still talking, not reading. The benefits of the giving of distributing and subtracting. If you do a good job of giving of distributing and subtracting, not only you have done giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy, giving, but also the bacteria in your body will start to benefit at that moment. You firstly have to have this cause and secondly can really mobilize this kind of motivation for them. If you do a good job of giving of distributing and subtracting, you not only complete the present giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving, but also lay the foundation for the future giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving. Not only do you nourish the lives of the sentient beings in your body with food, but also nourish their wisdom lives with the unsurpassed and supreme Dharma. Positive thinking. Because you can't stop eating. When you eat, how can you not let your afflictions take over your mind to direct you to eat? How can you let giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving take over your mind to go and eat? Giving of distributing and subtracting, for example, there are sentient beings in my body, and I am giving them the joy of food, that is giving pleasure, and the purpose of my eating is for this. It is also to pluck out their hunger suffering. Again, when they are satisfied with this eating and drinking, they rejoice, and I also give alms. Remember, how can you keep your afflictions from taking over the mind and having it dictate to you to eat? How can you play giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving, let them occupy your mind to play your eating? At that time, if you only take into account these sentient beings in your body, then you give them peace and happiness in order to pluck their hunger and thirst. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have done these things. But then, they have to have very good vows. For example, when Sakyamuni Buddha gave blood to the predecessor of the 5 bhikkhus, the 5 Rakshasas, at that time when the Buddha gave the blood, he made a vow. How did he make the vow? I would like to feed them with the blood in my body today, and I would like to nourish them with the blood of precepts, samadhi and wisdom in the future. When he gave alms to the tiger, giving up his body to feed the tiger, he also vowed, and he also had this concept. Shakyamuni Buddha once gave up his body 1,000 times, because his original vow was to give up his body 1,000 times in the beginning. Then these 1,000 times, he all had the corresponding vows. Then by and large, it does not deviate from one fundamental, that is, what I am giving up now is this, because what you need now is this. Then in the future when I become a Buddha, I will also give you what really lets you finally achieve. Then, it is I am the sustenance now, I will be still the sustenance in the future. Then you yourself can add this vow that he made when the Buddha gave up his body at any of the 1,000 times, when you give up this 80,000 household worms of yours. Then at this time, you not only complete the present giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving, but you also lay down the future giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving. Moreover, these sentient beings soon, because they are influenced by this giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving of yours, they soon will become human beings, or even become heavenly beings. Because their lifespan is not long, some of them are already several generations old in one day. The longest lifespan, for example, the cells of the skeleton, are changed in a few months. Once these are replaced, he forms a life form, no matter if he is a human being or a celestial being. Then in the future you will have more men. In the future, you will be certainly this king. Because of this, first you have to eat every day. Second, your eating is giving pleasure, plucking suffering, joy and giving. Your eating is with those sentient beings, now feeding their lives, in the future can also feed its wisdom life. After that, you can also tell them, create sin without repentance, so attain unlovely bodies, suffering from miscellaneous tiny body. You see how small the bodies are. If you ask for repentance with one thought, if you take advantage of the spiritual power of Jewel Supreme Buddha, you can be a heavenly being enough. Even if your kung fu is so bad that you are at your limit, they can still be human beings on earth, right? Besides, you are not that bad. Thank you so much. See you next time.